offer you an in-depth look at the issues that affect you. Radio, your eye on South Sudan.
The Dawn on iRadio. Right, a very good morning to you and welcome to the second half of the Dawn program here on iRadio, a live broadcast from the capital Juba. I'm your host Emmanuel Akile, together with the one Moses who's behind the social media coverage. And it's Friday the 14th of November 2025, coming to 13 minutes now after the hour of 7. قبل شوي احنا سمعنا الخبر ده في الأخبار باللغة الإنجليزية، بينما صرح وزير النقل القومي رزق زكريا حسن بأنه كينيا مدت فترة بتاع السماح لحاويات بتاع جنوب السودان من 14 يوم إلى 45 يوم، وده خطوة طبعا من المتوقع أنه تخفف من العبء المالي أو العبء المالي على التجار اللي هم عانوا طويلا من ارتفاع بتاع تكاليف التخزين والتخليص في ميناء بتاع مومباسا. وأضاف الوزير رزق خلال المؤتمر الصحفي اللي هو عمله في جوبا امبارح، والزميل بتاعه بجوكو تشجاوة كان موجود هناك، انه التمديد ده بيجي بعد مفاوضات ناجحة بين جنوب السودان والسلطات الكينية. وهو برضو أضاف انه التجار بتاع جنوب السودان بيدفعوا حاليا ما يصل إلى $5,000 للحاوية أو الخزينة أو العربات اللي بيمشوا الكبار اللي بيشيلوا البضاعة. وبرضو إنه الترتيب الجديد حيقلل بشكل كبير من رسوم بتاع التأخير وبيحسن من تدفق بتاع البضائع إلى البلاد. نمشي ونسمع للجزء الأول من المؤتمر الصحفي بتاعه.
The Ministry of Transport is one of the principal institutions in the Republic of South Sudan. It has been established per the revitalized transitional government of national unity. The ministry consists of 6 principal directorates, 5 principal directorates and the Civil Aviation Commission. The directorates which establishes the ministries are the air transport, we have river transport, we have the railways, let it be in bracket railways transport, we have road safety. In fact, when it comes to the road safety, roads are being established, constructed by the Ministry of Road. But our role is to manage the movers, those who are using the road users. That is our part in it. Then we have the pipelines. When we talk about the oil pipes, the pipelines is part of transport, which is part of our mandate. The pipelines, and it's yet to be established. And we have the civil aviation, which is actually part and parcel of the ministry, but it has been crafted based on the managerial aspects. Based on the above transport spheres, the ministry covers all sorts of human activities as an essential cross-cutting aspects. It covers the political aspects, social and economic aspects of human living. Despite magnificent role performed by the institutions, by the ministry, but it remains a very hard way to cross. In terms of our challenges, the first and foremost challenge that we are working at, because we cannot name it as challenges because we have been there so that to manage those challenges, the most and foremost challenge that we are facing, and we are going to address it, that is the issues of the regulatory framework. Out of these 6 directorates that we have just talked about, we have only 2 laws, 2 institutions that have been managed to establish their laws and they have been enforced. We have the civil aviations, it has its own act for the civil aviations, and we have the river transport, it has its own act. Apart from these 2 institutions, 2 directorates, the other 4 remained in a legal vacuum that we have to initiate and manage, and for sure within the few upcoming period we have to initiate, submit it through the legal desk, which is the Minister of Justice. It will be pursued to the ministries, to the Cabinet Affairs and ended in the legislature, the Revitalized Transitional Legislative Assembly. That would be the last, the way how we're going to approach the legal gaps in the four directorate, namely the railways, followed by road safety, air transport, and pipeline. The four of them, they are still maintaining legal gaps. That is the first aspect. Number two, about the workforce. The second aspect that we are facing about the workforce, the human capabilities in the ministry. Despite the functionalities of these institutions, yet we remain holding 400 plus vacancies. Those are the gaps of the workforce in the ministry. And actually, of the recent few days, we have established our contacts with the Ministry of Public Service. We have tabled our request, and they have responded. And now we are on the way of forming the ad hoc committee, which is a mini board, so that to undertake the process of the publications, which is the announcement about the vacancies. They will be receiving the submitted applications from the able South Sudanese who are willing to join us, plus the issues of the shortlisting, interviews, name the rest. At the end, it will end up with the employment of the able South Sudanese. I'm bringing this point here before you so that we are humbly requesting our able South Sudanese graduates, experienced people of those areas with gaps to apply for those vacancies. And let us mind them. They should not worry about the ongoing management spheres of the public sectors. I'm quite sooner or later things may change positive, and I'm quite sure these challenges will end. And let us not look into South Sudan as the situation will continue. Sooner or later, these issues of the public service, payments, and other aspects, livelihood will improve. Our message to the entire population of the country: let them apply. Let them secure their positions in the ministries, and for sure things will adjust and be improved. That is the second aspect regarding the workforce. The third aspect, now we'll be embarking on the policy framework. Because we cannot manage an institutions without having the appropriate policy framework. Having the policy framework will produce the strategies. The strategies will produce the policies. Policies will be developed into annual budgets. But if we keep having that gap, then I'm quite sure the managerial dimensions will be a bit loose. I think that is the third aspect that we at the ministry level, we are looking at it as a matter of importance. We have to work it out, and soon we'll embark on that, even though there are some drafts here and there about the policies, but now we are trying to bring the odds. We will be assembling the odds so that we establish the policy framework for the ministry. The second aspect, that is the contemporary challenges that the ministry has been undergoing of recent, and based on the handing over notes and briefing from the leadership of the ministry, right from the undersecretary and the leadership of the ministry, we come to understand that there is a massive outcry in the public, which is basically attributed for levies, fees being established at Mombasa Maritime Terminal. And also it has to do with the transportations and connectivity of South Sudan with the maritime. In brief, we have managed to summarize and identify those challenges in three basic aspects. The first one is about the containers security fees. In brief, in a nutshell, container security fees, that means containers are facilities. They are not part of the commodities. They are facilities meant to bring in the goods to South Sudan, then the empty containers will be going back. Due to the uncertainties, the shipping lines decided to levy fees as security fees to guarantee the repatriation or taking back of the container, returning of the containers back to the port. You see, that's why they name it as container security fees. What we have realized upon our assessment there on the ground, we have realized there are disparities. Fees are not equal applied on the goods heading towards the northern corridor countries. For instance, goods heading to Kenya, the container security fees of Kenya, they are 1,000. The container security fees heading to Uganda and Congo, they are 1,500. But the security fees for containers coming to South Sudan, they made it to be 5,000. That is within Kenya. Crossing the borders, it will be amounted to $6,000. Those are the security fees which have been levied on the containers. Now the challenge, these fees bearing in mind the contemporary challenges, the actual challenges on the ground facing South Sudan about the distance, about the infrastructures, about the logistics, about the other uncertainties, roadblocks, and then the rest. That usually made the transporters not to comply with the grace period. And at most, the container security fees ends up as value-added tax. Instead of just containers going back now, with the delay, and sometimes there are some misperceptions among our people, then the containers end up here in South Sudan. Automatically the prices, the fees will end up as added values on the prices that the consumers, they have to pay it. That is what you have realized, and it's a challenge. And based on this, we did our homework when we were there in Kenya, in Mombasa and Nairobi. We did our consultations with the relevant authorities, and now we are devising mechanism of how to manage those containers upon departure to South Sudan and how to return them back to Mombasa. We are trying to, that's why we met briefly with the Chamber of Commerce here in Juba, and also we are trying to find ways either to incorporate tracking devices or to find the relevant ways of managing it. But all in all, there are some initiatives in handling these aspects. The second aspect which I have realized also, it's another add values. It's about the grace period. The grace period which we have realized there in Mombasa, it's only 14 days. That 14 days is actually very desperate to be levied on South Sudan compared to other northern corridors countries. Some other northern corridors countries, they have grace period higher than what is being offered to South Sudan. In Kenya, in Uganda, some of them, they could go even for 45 days or 60 days. That's what made us to trigger us to go and negotiate with the relevant authorities. Tentatively, what we have resolved with the Kenyan authority, the grace period is we are going to push it from 14 days into 45. That's what matters for the grace period. But those are the two challenging aspects which we have realized, plus the third one, that is the multiple levies. There are so many levies, so many taxes, tariffs being levied on our goods there. So many aspects, petty, right from the windshields and so on and so forth. Then also we try to sort them out. The third aspect which we have to manage to undertake in Mombasa, the maritime port, the maritime Mombasa, it's about the containers freight stations. In brief, they call it CFS. CFS, those are the companies which are managing the South Sudanese freights upon their arrival to the ports. In fact, during my handing over note, I have received in that briefing, South Sudan have 5 companies operating in Mombasa, managing the freights coming to Mombasa, then they will be shipped towards South Sudan. The companies which I have received them, we have in that briefing notes, we have Compact Freight Limited, we have Autoport Freight Limited, we have Compact Free Trade Zone, we have LPC, Global Logistics, and we have Precision. Out of these 5 operational companies on the ground. We went and visited, and upon request for assessing them, I have formed a ministerial committee by a ministerial order. That committee consists of comprised of five active members, chaired by a person from the ministry. The secretary is a person from our South Sudan embassy in Kenya, plus the rest. The committee embarked on the assessment, in accomplishing the terms of the order, which are the assessment, evaluation, and recommendation to recommend the appropriate solutions for the challenges that they may incorporate. The committee went to the ground. They have assessed the operational abilities of the companies, their viabilities, and their legal aspects. Then they came up with concluded resolutions, which is a brief summary, indicating that out of 5 companies, 2 of them, they don't have presence on the ground, which means lack the viabilities, they are inviable. The 2 companies, there is 1 company named Precision, they don't have presence in Mombasa port. The other company, it's a compact free trade zone. They are operational in Nairobi, but they don't have presence in Mombasa. Those are the 2 companies which are ruled out automatically based on the report of the committee. Then the third group, which is the LPC Logistical Global Logistics Ltd. That group, they have very squeezed space. They have a space challenge. They have requested from the committee that they should be allowed for 3 months so that they would establish their appropriate facilities in a different site. Those are the 3 companies that they have been categorized, sorted out by the committee, that they would be impractical to manage South Sudanese containers for the moment. The 2 companies which are proven to be able for the moment to manage the South Sudanese freights coming to South Sudan, they are Autoport and Compact, Autoport Limited and Compact Mombasa. Those are the 2 companies that they have been adopted or reported, appreciated by the committee, and reported to us, and I'm quite sure now will be soon green-lighting them to undertake the South Sudan freights. In brief, those are the main points that we thought it, that we believe that there's a need for us to share it with you as the media houses. The first aspect, we brief you about the operationalities of the ministry. We talked about the regulatory framework. In brief, if you have any take on that. We talked about the directorates and their viabilities. Then we talked about the gaps, the establishment gaps that we have there. And also we talked about the policy framework, those in regard to the ministry, directorates and management. Then the second aspect about the movements of the freights, as well as the management of the CFS of South Sudanese in Mombasa.
رزق زكريا حسن، وهو طبعا هناك وزير بتاع النقل والمواصلات، وهو طبعا بيتكلم في المؤتمر الصحفي امبارح في جوبا، وده طبعا في موضوع بتاع الخطوات اللي قاعد تقوم به الوزارة، وهي قام ببعض من التفصيل بتاعت المهام بتاع الوزارة، وكمان برضو الاتفاقية اللي هم وصلوا به مع كينيا لانه عشان يسمحوا لحاويات بتاع جنوب السودان والشواحن اللي بيجي بيقعد في مومباسا كان ل 14 يوم زادوا ل 45 يوم، وده نوعا ما حيحسن من ناحية بتاع التجارة في جنوب السودان. خلينا نمشي لفاصل إعلاني وحنيجي نسمع للجزء الثاني.
In 2025, South Sudan is writing a new chapter in its economic story. Monthly revenue collections by the South Sudan Revenue Authority have reached an impressive 130 billion South Sudanese pounds. This success is powered by digitization, a nationwide e-government program launched in 2021 that modernized public services, strengthened data systems, and made revenue collection faster, safer, and more transparent. Today, Corruption leakages are shrinking. Efficiency is rising. And every digital transaction moves our nation closer to stability and shared prosperity. The South Sudan Revenue Authority calls on all government bodies, development partners, and citizens to accelerate the move toward full digitization. Together, through digital transformation and cooperation, South Sudan will move forward stronger, transparent, and united for progress. South Sudan Revenue Authority, digitizing revenue, driving development.
This is iRadio, your eye on South Sudan.
مرحبا بك مرة ثانية مستمع راديو في كل مكان، ولسه بتسمع للبث المباشر لبرنامج شدون، وده الوقت اللي فيه نمشي ونسمع للجزء الثاني لوزير بتاع النقل اللي هو رزق زكريا. في الجزء الثاني هو يتكلم عن موضوع بتاع الاتفاقية اللي وصلوا عليه مع الصين، وده طبعا لدراسة الجدوى لمطار بتاع تعلي الدولي، وده طبعا هنا في ولاية الاستوائية الوسطى، وهو جاوب بعض من الأسئلة اللي في الزيارة اللي كان هو عمله في كينيا.
Let me start first with the MOU which you have signed with the Chinese Roads and Bridges Corporations. That group with whom we signed that MOU is the Chinese Roads and Bridges Corporations. We signed with them an MOU for establishing a working team so that they should come with our expatriates, technical people on the ground, so that jointly we'll be convening, carrying visibility studies for Tale International Airport. They are coming to carry the visibility studies. The visibility studies, actually it's about sorting out the viabilities of the possibilities for us to establish the Tale International Airport. On their part, the Chinese, they are committed to fund. The funding it has been committed by the Chinese. Tentatively, they are talking about $6 million. That is their commitment for carrying the visibility studies. On our side, we as the government, we have the land, and we'll be supporting them by the technical staff. We have our own technical staff here that will be part and parcel of the visibility studies. And they will be embarking soon to Juba. Hopefully after 2 weeks they will be here, so that jointly with the assistance from our sisterly directorate, which is the civil aviations, they will be visiting the sites. They will be flying over. Then some engineers and the technicians, they will embark on taking samples from the soil and so on and so forth. In a nutshell, that is the Chinese roads and bridge corporations. They are going to do that visibility studies. Funding, they are the one to fund it. Our side will render them the relevant assistances. That is the first take. The grace period, actually, it has been decided by the Kenyan authority in persons of the KPA, Kenya Port Authority. Probably it would be in consultations with the relevant stakeholders, being the ministries of mining, green economy, and the maritime affairs. That is the name of the ministry which manages the Kenya Port Authority. And God sure also it has its own legal backing. You see, that is how the Port Authority works. They have concluded based on their assessment that the grace period for Kenya, South Sudan, and Uganda having different grace period. On our accounts, we thought giving Kenya, Uganda, and South Sudan wider grace period, while South Sudan are requested into 14 days. We cannot call it bias, but we thought it to be unfair. That's what made us to raise the point with them. And thanks for the Almighty, and also let us appreciate them because they have accepted our take. They have accepted the expansion of the grace period of South Sudan from 14 days to 45. That is about the grace period. The modalities that they have chosen, I cannot dwell on that because that is an internal a home affair for the Kenyans. Yeah. That is for the grace period. The multiple taxes levied in Kenya. Actually, there are so many taxes. Let us talk about, not taxes, but we call them levies. Let us talk about the winch which raise and take down. The goods have its own cost. Then the trains of loading and loading, plus the passing, they have their road tolls. They have so many small nitty-gritty, so many small collections there. That is in Kenya. When it comes to South Sudan also, we have our own problems. So many roadblocks, we have them here. So many, you understand South Sudan better than us, I think. We have our own internal levies that have been collected. But now, I think there were so many regulatory aspects have been shared and raised by the relevant authorities. And soon we are going to add our voices into our sisterly institutions who are operating here in South Sudan, also to manage the unnecessary levies that are being stated. And the role of the ministry in reducing the prices. I think our visit to Kenya and our meeting with the authorities. By the way, in Kenya we met with all the stakeholders, starting with the Minister of Maritime, who is by name Hassan Ali Joho, the one in charge of the ports. We met with him, and in that meeting, we have involved all the key players. All the Kenyan key players have been involved in that meeting, and it had yielded fruits. Actually, let me say that meeting yields its fruits. That meeting, for that initiative actually in place, it's intended to approach the stakeholders so that we manage the prices, starting from the grace period, which is 5,000, adding the 1,000 here, it amounted to 6,000. Tentatively, the containers prices are 2.5, which is 2,500. And the levies, the security levies added, security fees of the containers are 5,000, which is even beyond the price of the containers. That is what we have discussed and negotiated with them, and now it's seeing light. But we have our own problem that we have to address, which is we have to compel our South Sudanese business people to take their empty containers back in time. You see, that is what we are now trying to manage. We need our people to take the containers, the empty containers back to the place of origin in time. Despite we know that we have challenges, that's why we have asked about the grace period.
نعم، ده الجزء الثاني هناك من المؤتمر الصحفي لوزير النقل اللي هو رزق زكريا حسن، كان بيتكلم امبارح في المؤتمر الصحفي. نمشي ونسمع برضو من لادولو كاك اللي هو طبعا رئيس بتاع الغرفة التجارية.
نحن كان قبلنا الوزير السابق ومشينا له المكتب، ونحن ورينا المشكلة اللي في حاصل بين مومباسا وجوبا. في تشالنجز هناك كتير زي السيد الوزير يتكلم فيه. أول حاجة زمان الكونتينر بيجي من مومباسا بيجي لادي جوبا دايركت. هسا ده منعمل حاجة اسمه قطر هناك. قطر بعرفه كونتينر من مومباسا لنيروبي، من نيروبي ياو لوري بيجيشيلو بيجيبوا لجوبا. هيبقى إني دور فتانا كغرفة تجارية نحن كان ما دايرين كلام تا قطر، حتى زيادات القروض دي جا كله من نتيجة كلام قطر، لأنه في 400 يشيلوا هناك، ينزلوا كونتينر ب 200 تحت وجاي يرفعوا ب 200. ده أو كلام ده كان قدمناه لوزير. نمرة 3 الكونتينر أساسا كان مفروض بينزلوا في نيروبي، وكونتينر ده هسه يجيبوا في جوبا، يلا وري لي سواقين ده قال كده يشيلوا كونتينر ده وين لمومباسا، ده ياو فيه قروش. يعني ما كان عربية بيشيلوا من مومباسا لحد أجرة ده لحد جوبا، ومن جوبا لمومباسا نازل بينزلوا كونتينر بيشيلوا من نيروبي بيجي نزلوا وين؟ بيجي نزلوا في أجرة ده. فالدور بتاعنا نحن يعني بنتكلم عن الحكومة، لأنه حاجات كتير ده حاجات حكومة هو ياو جوانسو. في كلام مواصلات ده. ما مواصلات ده زي ما أنا قلت لكم ده حاجة هسا نحن كغرفة تجارية نحن بديل مع حكومة بنرفع شكوى زي الدور الفات. أنا قلت لكم أننا مشينا لوزير المواصلات الفات ده وحصل الحمد لله جابوا السيد الوزير رزق والحمد لله رزق ذاته مشى في السايد. ده سببه نادينا وذاته جاي ينورنا بكلام ده وعارف خلاص مشاكلات اللي في مومباسا ده. فهو طبعا كزول حكومة عندنا حاجات كتير. الافرو كونتينر بتاعنا بنزلوه تحت ما يكونوا في قطر كده. عربية جاء ارفع طوال يجيبوا لجوبا عشان ما يقلل الكوست بتاع الغلاء.
أما رئيس الغرفة التجارية في جنوب السودان لودولو كوك وبرضه كان بتكلم امبارح في المؤتمر الصحفي سوا مع وزير النقل رزق زكريا حسن. ماذا عن رأيك وتعليق بتاعك انت ناحية بتاع التجارة؟ اتصل علينا بعد الفاصل.
iRadio for reliable and objective news from across South Sudan and beyond. You are listening to iRadio, bringing you programs that offer you an in-depth look at the issues that affect you. iRadio, your eye on South Sudan.
Your eye on South Sudan. iRadio.
Welcome back from the break. It's now time to pick the calls. iRadio. Yes. تفضل.
يا أول حاجة أنا بشكر وزير بتاعنا النقل اللي هو رزق زكريا. زول اللي شغال بالمناسبة زول اللي شغال إحنا لازم نشكره لأنه يعني إحنا شفنا شغل حقه في وزارة السياحة يعني تطور موجودة السياحة دي شوية يعني. فأنا متأكد بوجود حقه في وزارة النقل برضه بيكون في تحسن. تعرف أكيله دي سبب أنا دائما نقول انضمام بتاعنا في المجتمع بتاع إيست أفريقيا ده ما عنده أي فائدة. يعني كده شوف كده يعني تفرق القيام من نفسه. يعني معقول إحنا عضو في مجتمع بتاع السيرك أفريقيا بيشيلوا مننا ضرائب باهظة أكثر من $6,000 ويوغندا بيشيلوا منه 1500. إحنا ما ناس، إحنا ما بشر. ده ليه؟ لأنه يعني ده ما زي يلا بقول بتاعنا هم عارفين جنوب السودان عنده قروش. ده شوية على دي بس سام بلا بس لأنه زي عندنا ناس مسؤولين هنا كده بيرى موجود سنة في نيروبي هناك. ما عندنا معروفين في وزارة بمشي بعمل ميتين في نيروبي والقروش اللي بيكربوا هناك أكثر عشان كده هم قالوا بس راس بتاعنا. أكيد رزق كده يشوف في الموضوع ده لأنه $6,000 ده باهظ جدا جدا. لو في مساواة كده يكون زي بتاع يوغندا. كده يكون زي بتاع يوغندا كان بقى أكثر عشان جنوب السودان ممكن بعيد شوية كده يكون $2,000 حاجة كده شوية كده بيكون كويس. يعني أنت ما ممكن بتدي $6,000 بتصرف يعني ضريبة باهظة ومعاناة ده كله جاي في الروز بتاعنا إحنا كمواطنين بالذات إحنا شعب بتاع السودان السودان. وبرضه كلام لازم نتكلم ده كمان كده زكريا ينظر عنه يشيل السوق ده كان سكينة هناك عشان كل من يعمل الخز زي بتاع زمان كل من كان قاعد يقول زمان كم ما في صعوبات. فدي المشكلة بتاعنا هنا عشان كده أنا قال نشوف انضمام بتاعنا في إيست أفريقيا ما عنده أي فائدة يا برادة أكيد. كان لنا قدوة حقيقة إيست أفريقيا ليه بيفرقونا؟ ليه بيعملونا كده؟ ليه أي يعني أنا ما قال نستفيد أي حاجة من المجتمع بتاعنا. شركة أفريقيا ليش؟ وهم قاعدين يجي هنا بيكون قاعدين بيشتغل بيزنس بيشيلوا $دولارات من هنا لدول هبل معلوم كده يعني. فشكرا أنا واثق من زكريا وبيقدر بلدى حد موجودة. Thank you.
alright شكرا. ده رابط سليمان اريديو.
أنا لو كل
جاي تفضل.
أنا بشارك على هذه. أول حاجة بالنسبة لميناء مومباسا أو كل الزيادة القاسية هناك أنا متأكد بكون ده بموافقة الحكومة بتاعنا. أكيد بكون في memorandum of understanding هم مدى مع بعض موافقة على الكلام ده وما كده وبس. أكيد بكون الحكومة عنده جزء أو عنده نسبة من النقل كده من نفسه كان ما عنده هو كان ما بيسمع أو ما بيوافق بزيادة القاسية هناك لأنه بيأثر بالسوق هنا وبيأثر بالتجارة اللي بيجي بيوصلها هنا لأنه كل الإضافة الزيادة بيزيدوا في راس البضاعة. ده واحد. نمرة 2 أنا بقول لوزير نقل المواصلات كله ما يعتمد على الطرق أو الصادرات بس أو الواردات بس. لازم كمان كله يوفر كله يكتفي ذاتيا البلد كله يكتفي ذاتيا الحاجات اللي بكون واردات كده بكون حاجات اللي ما عندنا في البلد هنا، زي مثلا المواد البناء ولا كان حاجات الالكترونيات ولا حاجات اللي بقى ما عندنا هنا. لكن زي اكل ده اكل وفي حاجات المفروض الدوله بينتجوا هنا. في شركه كده جا عمل دراسه جدوى دي نعمل لنا مثلا اسمنت جيجي اكل حاجه ده سهلوا عشان يوفر اكتفاء ذاتيا وترك الترابط بين الولايات والمدينه كلي وزير النقل والمواصلات كلي صار لا ناس انت بتجيب يردل دوره ساكت من يي دي لك بدفع قروش الاكثر من سعر انت اشتريت مو حاجه ده هناك ليه؟ لانه طريق سكه كاب. انا كان براشد وزير الطرق او وزير المواصلات ده اللي كمان يعتمد على نقل المواصلات الداخليه وليس خارجيا. شكرا جزيلا.
Alright, Lokulega, shukran lek. Radio.
Good morning, Manuel.
Yes, Denging.
Thank you, brother. First of all, let me congratulate the Honorable Gassel Zakaria. Actually, showing your talent to the people and trying to do something is good, even if it is not implementable. You know, such a good project of like Tali International Airport. So if they are successful, that's good for the nation. But the issue of Tali International Airport is it a priority? That's the question that the government of South Sudan also still need to discuss on how such big projects are made successful. You know, we need to write. We need not to write things. We have faced an issue of projects in Africa being designed. At the end of the day, maybe you get the project is supposed to be smart, roughly being done, or sometimes stacking. So we don't need such a thing to happen. Another thing is that Kenya have to look at what they are doing to South Sudanese. And also the same thing, the government, Minister of Foreign Affairs also need to help the Minister of Transport and also Minister of East African Affairs, so that South Sudanese, we are the ones supposed to be compromised, not Uganda, because we are the youngest country, struggling, we are the landlocked. We need to actually to bring in all the goods from outside. Why again so burden on us? So we are calling upon the government of South Sudan. These are the things. You know, government need to be busy on daily basis trying to solve challenges facing the public and the people. Our government is busy on politics, hatred, politics of jealousy, politics of hatred. These are the politics they are playing on daily basis. President even is confused. President is no longer, listening to the citizens' voices. President is only hearing the whisperings of the gossipers, whisperings of the dirty politics. This one is that, and that one is this. President is not listening to the voice of the South Sudanese, and this is, I'm urging these gossipers, this lobby group, please give a chance to President. He's the President of the people. He's not your president politician. You disturb us. Let President have his space to listen to the people. Let President have a space to listen to the voice of the voiceless. He will hear what people want, not from you. Because you advise President based on your political interest. And this will never benefit the country. But if President hears from us directly from our voice like this, he will hear exactly what people want. And he will act according to the people's interest. But I just with that, yes, in Zolbak Chibugul will line us the Chabder Kede. Which have good, like in Usama and Chabder Shunu. فنحن لسه بنطالب من سياسيين بليز خلي رئيس عنده فرصه يسمع من شعب بتاعه بيتكلم لانه رئيس بسمع راديو رئيس المفروض جاي التلفزيون رئيس المفروض يشوف يعمل انتراكشن يبن يقرا في فيسبوك كان يشوف شعب ده شنو لكن انتوا يو بلوكينج بريزيدنت بقولوا جوا عشان ما يشوف حاجه شعب and you are contributing to our suffering. The سياسيين او الرئيس الناس ولا الرئيس يا قاعدين طول جنوب السودان and we are going to deal with you one by the way. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. رئيس عنده فرصة لرئيس الجمهورية يكون عنده communication directly مع الشعب بتاع جنوب السودان. راديو. Hello راديو. وقدناك في الخط. راديو.
أنا جزء Akile, good morning.
Yes, good morning, Magog.
My brother, when we talk about the transport, first of all, we do appreciate Honorable Rizik for always trying his best to have work plan. No matter it is not implemented, he do try his best. And this is the nature of the leadership we want. Coming to the challenges that you was talking about, you can try many possible ways
If that side is not working, you try another country. Ma yakun Nairobi baraba ya yakun Malta tijara. Ma yajaribu dola tanin lo biga Nairobi biga lo pidol ta biga after Nairobi kale Mombasa da ya shune da ya biga mal baraba ta business. Al mikla bitana akuma bitana indu tijawa. Malin do Allah ka fogo de da zo liga bit bita yalu fogo liga akil bito ga kala ya biga mal bita barnawi bita akum. Ma fi dollar katir al garib le Junub Sudan. Ijreu fi Sudan e chubi na ku Djibouti, Ethiopia, fi wen. Mala kun garib na de mumkin yani serio kun agalla min bita Nairobi da galle kala bita Kenya. So let him try his best and check. We one will be better for South Sudanese because these people are affecting the citizens. If they just, that one is very expensive like that, and maybe the thing is transported to Juba, coming to the other areas in 10 states, then the business people, they don't want loss. They will add on until the citizens are seriously affected. So our request now to an active minister like Rizik, let him try to check different countries. If there are other countries that afford and they have a portable price, then you can stop that one of Mombasa and switch to a different country. Because you cannot work for loss. You must work for benefit. And that is the role of the government. You should have to benefit your citizens. Instead of everything is being loose in the country. Second to that, I would like to appreciate him for announcing the opportunity to all the youth about 400 position opportunities for the employment. But my request to him is, let him not allow the recommendation from all honorable excellencies and generals. Let it be advertised. People apply. They are shortlisted. They go for it an oral interview. Those who have fact must be given that position. Because South Sudan is for all of us. Not for generals, not for honorable, not for excellency. Yan jana kafir lo biga naja pe yamchane wadi lo kursede. Yan jana askiri jundi. لو نجا في امتحان المعمولة دي كلي يكون من جزء من 400 نفر اللي بيشغلوا هناك ما يكون جنة بتاع هونربل ما يكون جنة بتاع جنرال لازم يكون جنة نجا في امتحان جنة اللي عنده شهادة الجنوبي اللي بقدر يشغل كلي يابو يدلوا كرسنا. This is my request to Honorable Minister. Let the recruitment be fair. Let it be for South Sudanese. Let it for the citizens who are qualified to get the position. We deserve in this country to get our rights. Because even the son whom his father have died deserve to be given a chance in the country. Because the father have died for the right of the people of South Sudan. They did not die in vain. And the right and all of us must be equal in front of law. We are all created in South Sudan and we deserve to be given our rights. Thank you.
All right, we deserve our rights. Thank you. Radio.
أي هذا صباح الخير للمرة الثانية بعطيك أمانه.
Batista, تفضل.
أنا بشكر البرنامج وبشكر نساء راديو كله لاستضافة بتاعت هم مشوا في مؤتمر الساحة كلام الوزير زكريا حسن بتاعت الوزير بتاع النقل والمواصلات. حقيقة هذا الرجل ما سهل يعني هو عنده أفكار بعيد شديد جدا جدا بعيد المدى للرؤية بتاعت كله الحاجات اللي كان الحركة الشعبية يعني نادل من أجله هو واحد من الناس اللي لحد الآن ما طلع برا من اللاين ده يعني هو لحد الآن ماشي باللاين ده. أنا بتذكر هو لما كان في الثروة الحيوانية ده عمل إنجازات كتير وعمل حاجات كتير وخطط كتير وبسافر وبيجي وعمل تنسيق حاجات كتير. حاسين نفس حاجة هو في وزارة النقل يوم واحد من وزراء السابقين كله ما سنين عينه فوق وزير سافر لعادي مصر ولا لعادي نيروبي ولا شلة لعادي نومل هنا ساي يشوف فيها إشكالية بتاع شنو في النقل. لكن يشوف الراجل لما لعادي وين وعمل شنو وخفض شنو ويمكن لسه كمان في حاجات هم هيعملوا زيادة وزيادة وزيادة. فالعقل السليم في جسم السليم والرجل المناسب في المكان المناسب. عشان كده انا بشكره وبشكر كل عوان بتاعه زي ناس الغرفه التجاريه بقياده بتاع اللوكاك كمان يعني اللوكاك محتاج مثل هذا المسؤول. كل المسؤولين ديل بتاعت الحاجات اللي بتتعلق بالتجاره ده اذا بيعملوا زي التعريف النفسيه ده انا متاكد انه احنا ذاته ما كنا تعبانين وما عندنا غلاء زي ده. يعني انا داير هو بيكون عنده علاقه في مباشر مع ناس وزاره التجاره مع ناس الضرائب مع ناس وزارة مالية يعملوا تنسيق عشان يعملوا تخفيضات حاجات الحصل في فترة الفات كله يخفضوا. احنا مع مشتركين في برنامج بتاع ايست افريكا ده هنا جزء من كوميونتي بتاعه. وين حقنا ما بنلقوا؟ يعني الدول ثانيين حقهم اقل وحقنا كثير. كلام ده ما كويس. اننا ما دايرين تمييز. يعني اننا لازم يدونا حقنا زي ما بدوا لباقي الدول. وانا بشكر رئيس زكريا لمره ثانيه خليه يرمي قدام وورا محمد. شكرا.
alright شكرا لك باتيستا راديو.
الو.
يس.
هاي صباح الخير ايمانويل.
صباح النور.
هاي ده معك جيمس ايوه.
تفضل طوالي.
انا ما بروح كثير لكن انا ترحلني وزير بدانا كان وزراء بدانا من بدايه بلد ممكن قاموا الحاجات دي. انا كنت بلد كان ما ذكروا بكارثه لكن لسه ما زال لسه عندنا زمن نديرين كل من بعد فتح هنا كان ممكن جنوم كل من بعد فتح هنا وكلنا ما يتم الزول تاني ده طبعا زول له قاموا عدالة ده لانه ده بلد فيديو وده محل فيديو لكن أنا نديرين وزراء ده كل يكون فوق بدالهم فيديو ببيتان ما عنده أي فايدة كل زول كل يعرف مجال توقي شغل في شنو صورة حيوانية وبعد شغل شغل توتو أنا بيجا ديرين تا سينا ده أنا ما أنا وزير تا سينا ده 30 يوم وجيني وقاموا في شنو ولو جيبوا مساني بالكاس أسمندي على أساس الناس كله بلا في أنا ده محتاج بنيان ده أسمندي يابا أمورو يعني عندنا جبال قطار لو ما ديرين يجيبوا شركات عشان بقدر أمورو عشان ينزل أسعار لأنه كان نجيل ونس معنا زي الناس ده يسافر كده مو بيقولوا كلامنا أخوانا لكن جوا جيل بيننا أنا ما أخوانا لكن كلامنا فايد يومون بتركة تاني نعملوا شركات ما يكون شركات وهمية لكن شركات البيسوكول الجي شغل ومواطن جاينو أنا أكيد كان شركات دي في بلد ده أتالا ومشاكل الكثير اللي تقول شباب ده النيجاس ولا ناس سنين حرامية ولا شنو ده حاجة ده بيجيل وكل زول بيكون مسؤول وبلد ده بيمشي في أمان لكن كان أنا بس كدور ببيتات وهوتيلات وفي شنو فايدة ما في أنا ما بيقولوا سلو كثير لكن كل روح قدام وكل ربنا يبتالو ويوديه جوا ده رسالة بتاعي جيمس
شكرا جزيلا جيمس للمشاركة بتاعك and thank you all for your contributions and also for being part of today's edition of The Dawn. We have come to the end of it for this week. Do join us again on Monday at the same time to get the latest on what's happening in South Sudan and beyond the borders. So up next, news in Arabic with Michael Daniel. On behalf of the Dawn team, William Katrawa, Awan Moses and producer Diko DeAndre, this has been Emmanuel Joseph Akile. Do have a good day and a great weekend. We'll meet again on Monday.